Well, good afternoon. Well, I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from today. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you had the opportunity to stop by and just hear what we have to say. As you know, my name is Leslie Montgomery, and this is LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And today, I have a beautiful guest with me, and I'm so excited about her. She is moving forward in ministry, and she just has so many things going on. When I asked her if she would come on, she was so gracious to say yes. I was like, oh, she actually said yes. And I just appreciate it so much. So let me take a moment before, as you enter the room, I want to say welcome to the UK, welcome to Sweden, welcome to the Virgin Islands, wherever you're, even in the US, wherever you're looking from, London, we just want to say welcome. We're so glad to be here and for you to be a part of our platform today. Hey, Ashley, my daughter Ashley's on. Excuse me, this light just went out. Sorry about that. And yeah, so as we go forth, I want Angel Charmaine to just take a minute before we get into the conversation and just tell us a little about you.
Okay. Well, first, please allow me to say, Leslie, thank you so much for inviting me to Leslie's Lessons Learned. Let me tell you, that has been a Peter Piper picked a pack of. It's been a tongue tire for me, but I really appreciate you extending the opportunity. Like you said, I am pretty busy, and I always get nervous when I'm in these types of spaces. So I prefer to actually work behind the scenes. And your podcast is the first one I've been on in a little while now. It's been a while since I've done this. So thank you for extending the opportunity. I appreciate you. I'm really excited to be here. I am the mother of four amazing humans. I call them my sons.
Oh,
I am also an entrepreneur. I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and of course, the CEO of SpeakUpSis LLC, which is an enterprise that we're going to talk about today. I'm also a self-published author. I have 4 published works currently. I'm also a former educator. I was a teacher, and I trained teachers. And for, let's see, about 20 years, almost 20 years.
wow.
I still consider myself an educator, but formal teaching, I stopped in 2017. So 17 years total. So there's a whole lot about me. I don't really like to deal in titles and things of that nature. I'm just a woman who loves God, a woman after God's own heart. And I do what he tells me to do. And sometimes there are different titles put on that. But at the end
I
of the
get
day,
it.
I just love the Lord, and I'm doing what he told me to do.
Amen. That's amazing. And yes, she is. She's phenomenal, a phenomenal woman. Almost want me to pull out the Maya Angelou phenomenal. Please don't mind me. I'm silly. I like to have fun, but
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I remember hearing you say that you were educated, and when I was writing it today, I said she's probably gonna look at this and say, "Lord, what's this girl talking about?" And because that's what teachers do, they'll say, "Well, you did so and so," which is fine with me. That helps educate me. But I thank you for accepting the invitation, like I said, and just to know that you are a lady with many hats. You got to turn your hat this way, hat this way, hat that way. I was putting in the description because I know that you do so many things, and I was like, I should have asked her what exactly to put in there. So I put in there the podcast, I put in there the bookstore, and it's something that I always forget to tell people that I am also an author, and I never remember to tell people that. I never remember to tell people, well, I don't ever talk about myself really. So if you don't know me, what you see is what you get, more or less. But in this space, the reason why I asked you to come on is because you have so many opportunities that are available to women, and you're always doing something. You're always somewhere supporting someone. And I wanted you to come on and talk about your platform and all that you do. But before you do that, what are the ages of your children?
My oldest son is 24. I
Okay.
have twins. They are
Oh,
20. And my youngest son is 19.
oh, so you don't have babies.
No
They're your
more.
babies, but
Glory.
I have a friend that comes on, a sister that comes on with me on Sundays, and she hosts with me. She has two sets of twins, and
Mm,
she actually had four. She lost two, so now she
wow.
has two. I just can't even imagine having all those twins, but she has them. And when you said you had twins, it made me think about her. But when you think about your children and all that you do, because you have broad hands, and why do I say that? Because your arms stretch out so many different places. Maybe the best way to start is, what was the first thing you started with? What that your vision? What was the first vision? What was that like? What made you branch out into it?
Into entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
I had an encounter with the Spirit of the Lord in January 2018. At that time, I was an Army Wounded Warriors advocate
Oh.
as well as an educator. I was I was teaching as an adjunct at a college in Portland, Oregon. And I did that, like I said, as an adjunct, but my full time was as an Army Wounded Warriors advocate with Department of Defense. I have been doing that for about 4 years. And January 2018, I found myself in this place where I can only call it an experience with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord. Prior to January, I had been sensing a change and a shift, just kind of seeking a little bit more. We went to church and things of that nature, but it was church. And you go to church, and I knew there was something more for me to be doing. I wanted there to be something more for me to be doing. I wasn't really sure about a lot of things at that time. And then around December, I started reading the Bible more. I started reading different types of books more. And then in January, I had a moment. I really can't explain it in any other way than to say that. I had a moment with the Spirit of the Lord. And I was instructed to write my first book. So it started with the very first book. And it wasn't a book to be written so that I could just share my life with people and help people. That's not why the Lord instructed me to write the book. Speak with Sheep, which is the name of the first book. Speak with Sheep, One Woman, 10 Truths, was a book that I was instructed by heaven to write as a release. I write therapeutically.
Hmm.
And so I needed to release some things from my own heart as the Lord was renewing a right spirit in me and giving me a clean heart. There were things I needed to let go. And so I was led to write it in book form. And when I tell you, tears on the paper, literally, because I actually wrote everything before I typed it all up.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know anything about writing a book. I didn't know anything about being an author. I read books, but I had never written a book, had never really thought about writing a book, but I did. I did in 7 days, actually. And I was able to lay some things out on the pages because, things don't become real until you write them or speak them.
Right.
And
And the word
oftentimes
tells
we
us
don't
that,
want to
right?
write and we don't want to speak because we don't want it to be real. As long as it stays here, it's not really real. But as soon as you put something to paper, it makes it really real and tangible for you. So for me, the Lord led me to write it all out on the paper. so that I could move on to what it is that he was calling me to do. And so once I released that book, I had another conversation with the Lord. He had conversation with me, let me say that, and asked if I was ready to come out on the water with him. And I was like, yeah. And after that is when the decision was made that I would resign from my 17 plus year as an educator and advocate, and just follow the Lord. And that's what I did.
Yeah, sounds good. One thing we have in common that I heard you say is that you're a widow.
And so let me say this. That's a touchy one right there. Spiritually, I'm a widow. Let me say
Oh,
that.
okay.
And we're not going to go there
No, no.
because a lot of people wouldn't understand it. But my husband, my children's father, passed away in July 2018. But at the time of his passing, we were divorced. We were
Okay.
really good friends.
Yeah.
We co-parented. It was a major loss for me as well as my children. But in the natural, we were divorced when he died. So I just want to clear that up. I do
Okay.
consider myself a widow spiritually, simply because there was no legally spiritual reason for that divorce. But that's a whole other conversation. If
Okay.
people
Yep.
ain't ready for
Okay.
that. That's what this is not about that.
Right. I get it. I apologize for bringing it up, but I was just
Oh no,
saying
you're
that
good. I don't have a
we
problem.
can have an actual conversation both on both ends about that. We can come back on and free a
Most
lot of
definitely.
people with that one. But one of the things that I need to tell the audience, and listen, thank you so much for being here, wherever you're here from. Thank you. I see Philly's in the house. I see a few of your ladies are on. I see Atlanta's in the house. I see, oh God, I don't have my glasses on. Uh, Susan is in the house. Welcome, welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
Susan.
Yeah, is it Jamia? Jamaica is
Hey,
in the house.
Tamika. How you
Tamika's in
doing?
the house, and we're just so excited that you're here today. But let me say to those that don't know about you, how I met you, or should I say, how I came into contact with you, and it
Okay.
was through the awards process. And Judy, what's her name? Ambrose
Ambrose,
James, a
Judy
beautiful,
Ambrose James.
awesome woman of God. She texted me and she said, "I think that you would fit good in here." And I was like, so I went and I checked it out, and I was like, I ain't asking nobody to vote for me. you know. And then I was telling them, look, don't anybody pick prayer warrior. I said, I do other things beside that. I get this email, and in the email it says you're one of the finalists for prayer warrior. I was like, what? How did that happen? So I've been following you since that. I love what you do. I live in Lawrenceville, which is about 3 hours from you. So sometimes I'm like, I'm going to try to get to some of the things that you do because you have such an awesome work going on. But I wanted everybody to know that this is the lady that is over the
Speak Up Sis Awards.
Speak Up Sis Awards. And no, I cannot wait for that day. One of the things I appreciate so much is that it's a black tie affair. So many words. It's a formal affair. That means you got to dress up. Something people don't like to do anymore. People
Mm-hmm.
are so comfortable with their jeans and, just being casual. So I look
Mm-hmm.
forward to that part as well. And I want to thank you. Thank you for wanting to see other women go
Right.
forth. So I
Right.
wanted to say that before you go on any further. And I just want to say, listen, wherever you're listening from, can you hit that like sign, subscribe, and share? There's someone out here that Angel is going to talk about something today that's going to cause somebody's life to be changed. And
Yeah.
we desire so much for you to share it so that others can also have a chance to an opportunity to spread their wings. So as you go on and you tell us a little bit about your different sectors, I don't know what to call them within your ministry that you do. 'Cause we
So
have a lot of book writers out there. We,
let, let me let me say this,
go ahead, have
Leslie. I got this feeling I just want to call you Miss Leslie. I don't know. People like
why
I
people
want to
do
call you.
that.
I want to. What you said? Don't call you Miss
No,
Leslie.
I said people say that all the time.
I'm like, Lord, I know she want me to call her Leslie, but Lord have mercy. I'm about
It's
to
up
give
to
her Miss.
you.
You about
It's
to get a Miss
fine.
Leslie. So I'm just like you. I like to laugh and joke and have a good time as well. And it helps me to be able to relax and have these kind of conversations. So I most people feel just like you feel when it comes to Speak Up Sis. It's like, I like it, but what is it? It's a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
going on, right? And it's because it's bigger than most of us, it's bigger than all of us, it's bigger than me. Speak Up Sis is a call to action. There's not an individual that I've met so far that has said, well, what is it that you do? And I say, well, I own a business called Speak Up Sis. Automatically, women go, I feel like I need to be doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
okay, tell me more about that because maybe I want to speak up. It's a call to action.
Yeah.
It's not, we people want to put lots of things on it, but it is the work that God has called me to do. And so all of the different things like the bookshelf and the podcast and the magazine and the center and all the things, I simply call them spaces because that's what they are. They're simply spaces that people are able to utilize to do what it is God has called them to do. And people will recognize the space that they need to be in when they see it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, Speak Up Sis, in a nutshell, is an enterprise that God has allowed me to create spaces and provide opportunities for everyday people to be able to share their stories so they can build resilience, to deal with the hard parts of life, and to inspire other people to do the same thing. Is rooted in Revelations 12 and 11. For they triumph him, the enemy, him being the enemy, for they triumph him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives unto death. And so what Speak Up Sis is a place for people to say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to take this to the grave. I'm not going to love my life unto death. I'm going to share the word of my testimony so that I can get free. And people will come onto the podcast, and I tell everybody when they come on, like, just know it's kind of like a virtual couch. As soon as you get in here and start talking, you're going to lay all your stuff out. So if you're not ready to be vulnerable and transparent, Speak Up Sis podcast is not the place for you. I don't ask people the vulnerable questions. They simply want to share because the Spirit of the Lord is what embodies Speak Up Sis. Speak Up Sis belongs to the Lord. And so when people come into the spaces, whether it's the podcast or the magazine, if you've had an opportunity to read the magazine, you'll see that the stories that are shared are raw. They are strong and relevant. And people, it's like once they sit down to have that conversation or whatever they decide to submit, it's like the Lord lays it on their heart to release it. And here it is in a magazine in written form, right? Or like this center. Anyone who has been to the physical location will tell you, and I'm going to say eight out of 10 people who have been here, and I'm being nice about that 8. Before they leave, they're like, it's just so peaceful in here. Like People don't want to leave.
Wow.
And it is because it is the Spirit of the living God that dwells here. And so the world wants to give Speak Up Sis. So like, what is it? What it is, it is where the Spirit of the Lord resides. That's all I can tell you. And it's just spaces for people to come in so that they can release.
Yeah.
And we do that through the spoken word and the written word at this point.
Yeah. Hey, Pastor. Pastor's here from Texas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, somebody put
Look, Tamika wrote us a book. So shout out to Tamika Simmons. She is the moderator in the Speak Up Sis community. Listen, now, if I don't know if anybody loves me,
she does.
Tamika loves me. And I love her right back. Thank you, sis.
Yes. So she added, thank you so much for adding to what we already have. Take a moment and just tell us some of the things that's in the center, because you know, you have a variety of things going, spaces, as you say, within the center.
Okay, so the Speak Up Sis Empowerment Center is the newest space the Lord has allowed me to curate. It's an actual historical home located in the heart of Augusta, Georgia. And we rent the venue as well. So we've got the bookshelf, the Speak Up Sis bookshelf. That's a virtual space that is now a physical space inside of the center. Mm-hmm. People can come in, sit down and read. It's kind of like a little macro library, if you will. And so people can come in, sit down and read quietly if they want, or they can study. There's a young lady who comes in here to get work done. She always sits in the bookshelf to do that. We rent that space as well, or people can just come in during our open hours between 10 and 5 and just utilize the space. They can just sit there if they want and work or read or just be quiet, whatever. We also have the TK3 conference room. TK3, a lot of people was like, what's that about? My sons are Tyler, Kevon, Kajo, and Kevin.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the TK3 comes from. The TK3 conference room, our tagline is TK3 conference room is where brilliant ideas are born. I call my 4 sons my mighty men of valor, because that's what the Lord told me they were at birth, or not at birth, but when they were all really, really small. And so they're brilliant, not because they're my children, but they really are brilliant.
Can we say that their mom is brilliant? Can we say that?
You know what? Hey, I'll receive it. So we decided to give the room that tagline where brilliant ideas are born, because I wanted my children to be a part of what it is that we do here, because they're a big part of my life, you know. So people can come and rent out the conference room as well, or they can just utilize it during our business hours. We also have the Connection Hub, which is another space. It's exactly what it sounds like. There are tables and chairs. There's a television in there. You can just you can have lunch. You want to meet with friends, want to just come watch TV. You can do that in the Connection Hub. The center also has like a kitchen prep area for if people want to have things catered. So the Empowerment Center is like a mesh up of a community center, a library, and like a Starbucks. That's what I tell people.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. And so I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I am. And I grew up in the projects of Savannah and in Augusta. And not sure about your listeners or your viewers, but I remember when community centers were in the center of the projects.
Right.
And everybody went to the community center.
Right.
They did Head Start in the community center. They did Feed a Kid or free lunch at the center. The center was where everybody went for activities and things for the neighborhood. We don't really do centers anymore.
No.
We really don't. However, we need to. And so what the Empowerment Center is designed to be, because between 10 and 5, our doors are open for people who are 18 or over to come in and simply have space to think, to read, to work, to write, to meet other people. And I'm finding it the most difficult thing, Miss Leslie, to get people to understand that concept. You know, most people are like, is it your office, Angel? I'm like, I have an office there,
Right.
but the building is not my office. The building is for you to come use, and it doesn't cost anybody as individuals between 10 and 5 if they want to just come into the building. It doesn't cost them anything,
Wow.
but it's just, and that's why I'm forcing myself to come into these spaces so that I can let people know it's available. It's good. It's a healthy place. It's nothing going to hurt you. We're not asking you for anything. It's just a space for people to learn to love people again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's needed. It's needed. And society, I say society, but the world has caused us to separate so much. And then came the pandemic that just brought you into a whole nother level of separation. And in the process of that, it just pushes us more and more to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we've come into a microwave a society where everything's boom, 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 let's get it done.
Yeah.
Sit down, give yourself a space to maybe think and come up with some ideas, or just woosah. That's gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a minute, but
Yeah.
it's an awesome space. Now there's other things but one of the things I want you to talk about is the summer camp that you have coming up for the children.
Yes.
I want you to talk about that. Just let everybody know what that is, and is it just in person? Is there a space for online children? Tell us about it.
Okay. You've been doing your homework, Miss Leslie. Uh, so, uh, how could I forget this? Before I tell you about the workshop,
Uh-huh.
here at the center this past Saturday,
Oh yeah, I
we
want to talk
actually
about
launched.
that. Yeah, we
We're
got to
going to talk
talk
about
about
that.
that. Yes, because I would like to have a session for that.
Okay, so then I'll
Okay,
wait
but
on that then.
no, because I do want to talk about the red carpet. We're gonna talk about that before we end.
Okay, so
But if
here
you
at
wanted to, let me say this. Go ahead and talk about it, because I still want to have us come on and do a session of it so
okay,
people can understand,
what it
because that's
is.
also vitally important to be able to support.
Okay, so I'll just let everybody know that it's here, just like the other parts of the center. We now have the IMHC, or the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition's very first pad bank here at the center. And the pad bank it's a pad pantry. We have a space here where people donate menstrual
Wait,
hygiene.
right. Okay, I was gonna say let's break that down. That part. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's a pad pantry. It is actually a room in here, and people donate menstrual hygiene products like pads and tampons and wipes and feminine wash, deodorant, and we store them in the pantry. And the homeless girls and women in our area, as well as everyday girls and women, they may not be homeless, but they
Right.
just may be a part of the working poor, and they just can't afford menstrual hygiene products. Well, they'll be able to come here, and we will have dignity kits for them. The dignity kits allow girls and women to menstruate with dignity. And so it's a little bag that's got different size pads and tampons and wipes and deodorant and all those sorts of things. And we'll give them one of those bags, and then they can have what it is that they need. And it won't cost them anything. They won't have to show us, their tax ID to
Right.
determine if they're low income.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I know because I've been there, if a person shows up in a space like a soup kitchen or a place where people are giving in that way, they need it. They need it. And I really have a problem with, you know, making people feel undignified, unworthy, and shame when they are in a place of need where they've got to show you all their bank accounts and show you. You understand? If you've ever
Yeah.
been in that place before, then you know how degrading that can be to have to stand
Yeah.
in a line and prove that you're poor. The fact that you're standing in line asking someone to give you something as basic as a tampon, to me, that's all the proof I need
Yeah.
that you need it. And so we're not requiring any of those things. People will just and I say menstruating girls and women will be able to come and utilize it. So we do have that here at the Empowerment Center too. And we launched it this past Saturday. So I definitely want everybody to know about that. So yeah. And then I
Mhm.
forgot what the first thing you asked me about. I,
Well,
I get passionate about certain things, Miss Leslie.
but you know what? And I was an army brat. I didn't grow up. There were times that we didn't have that we didn't know we didn't have. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I remember, and sorry for the men that's on here, there's a couple of men on here, that when I got my cycle, I didn't know anything about it. I was 9, and I called my mom. I said, I cut myself. She calls my cousins. They had this conversation. They go, she comes and brings me this bag, and she's put this on. No education.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's I think that's awesome because that right there can branch out to so many different things. You
Oh
know,
yes.
it starts
And
as a
it's
pantry and
and it's a conversation that needs to be had. Even the fact that before you shared your moment, your a piece of your testimony just now, there's this thing that tells you I need to put a disclaimer out. And that is one of the things that the IMHC, the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition that SpeakUpSis is a part of. That's one of the things we're working to help get rid of. And that is period stigma, because we can't talk about what allows men to be born in front of
right,
men.
right,
If we don't bleed, you don't get to be born,
right.
right?
Yeah,
No blood, no birth. And to say that, it's like, oh, that's crass. Why is something that is so normal, something that we all know is happening,
it's part of
we
life.
don't get to talk about, right? And we don't get to talk about it openly. So we're working to get rid of period stigma. It shouldn't be taboo. We should
Right.
not be in 2024 and people still telling little girls that, now that your cycle's on, that means you can't play with boys. If you play with a boy, you're going to get pregnant. People are still saying
Yeah.
those things in
Are they?
2024, and something is wrong with that. And
Yeah.
so we are working to stop that and to educate people, men as well. Like I said, I have 4 sons, and I remember when they were younger and it was just me and them. And I deal with PMS pretty badly because I'm self-aware and I know about it. I can kind of manage it and I know what's going on around me. But it took a while to get there. And I remember getting to a point where I realized what I was like my personality and how I was showing up during that time. And I had to say to my sons, I was like, listen, this is mommy's time of the month, and I'm cantankerous right now. And anything you say is really going to make me just frustrated and angry, and it's very, very difficult for me to control. So if you would just please, when I put this sign on the door that says do not disturb, could you just please don't knock on the door until I take the sign down? My children, they understood, and they would come, they'd be like, oh, mama, and now that they're older, I'll say, if I'm in pain or something, I'm just like, listen, I'm just not feeling good right now. Just let me lie down. And my sons would be like, okay, mom, we understand. They close the door and go on about their business. So it's just how it's about education. It's about talking and sharing. And prayerfully, my sons will be the men who won't be afraid to
go to the store,
go to the grocery store if their wife needs it, or their little girl,
Yeah. One thing I want to say, because even though we're saying that, we're talking about this, I think that women should still, what's the word I want to use? Not saying just be so, that's not even the word, but I'm going to use this word, but this is not the correct word. Not to be so loose with it. Maybe I'll say loose.
Right.
Still have respect for yourself. Still
have some decorum.
Yeah. It's not saying just go out there and be loose with it, but
and
education is needed.
And here's the heart of Speak Up Sis, right? I think a lot of times when we talk about so you met someone who has created a space called Speak Up Sis, and then that begs the question, well, how much do I really want people to speak up? How much do I really want them to speak up? How much should they speak up? What should they speak up about? Do we really need them to speak up about that?
Yes.
Could they do that somewhere with people who want to hear, because everybody want to hear? So what I will say is that if we can talk about the blood of the lamb, if we can talk about putting blood up on a doorpost, because they literally slaughtered lambs and put the blood on literally, that was a literal thing. But we are still finding it difficult to just speak about what a thing is, so that we can stop having little girls get bad information, misinformation, little boys. I can only imagine how many little girls have gotten pregnant because nobody actually taught them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or boys, who are finding themselves in these different places because they just were never taught. So yes, while I agree that I believe that we share as it is aligned to our purpose, I don't believe you just get out and be like, but as it is aligned to your purpose, we should share, and we should temper things with tact, is what I like to say. But we need to open up our mouths and talk about the hard things.
And yeah, the part I'm talking about is how you carry yourself on the outside. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about not talking about it, because we as a people have not been educated in a lot of areas, just like the word. We only know bits and pieces. We have not been educated in the word, so we don't understand how to carry and use the word. And that's what you're saying. We don't, because we don't educate our children. Why? It's taboo. Why? It's shameful. Why? We can't talk about that. It's just like what they used to say, call it the birds and the bees. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees. Well, yeah. So I'm not talking about that part. We have to educate on so many levels. My desire is to mentor young ladies, especially today, on how to dress for an interview, how to carry themselves, to love themselves.
Right.
You know, what
Right.
your image is important to me,
Yes.
that you begin to love who you are, because we're in a society that don't know who they are and don't love themselves.
That's right. I agree with you. And please excuse me. I thought you were,
Oh no, that's all
saying
right.
maybe
No, no,
we
no, no,
should
no.
be. I'm like, come on, Miss
No,
Leslie.
no, no, no. I'm talking about how you carry yourself on the outside.
Oh,
You
oh,
know.
most definitely. Listen, I get a lot of flack in that area as well, because I totally agree with you, and people will have different opinions, but yes. So, but we do have the pad bank here, and we will begin to have some different workshops and things like that people can come to if they want to bring their daughters, if moms and daughters want to come together, if they need a little help
Right.
sharing that information with their daughters and making sure that they feel comfortable with it. We will provide those types of workshops here coming really soon. We launched the Pad Bank, but it is not open for withdrawals just yet. We want to make sure that it's filled enough
Okay.
to be able to just give freely. So the plan is during the summer months to open it to the public. So what we need is for people to donate, so that, because it's going to run solely on the
Donate.
actual donations. So the more
Yes.
people, and if you are local or if you're in the US and you go to Amazon and just want to ship, we would much prefer, if you want your support to go towards the pad bank, to send the actual products. I really don't want to I don't have the time to go buy all these things because people are sending donations,
Hmm.
financial donations. So if you could just like go on Amazon and buy pads and ship it to us, that's perfect. Or if you
Okay.
live near, you can just bring it to us. So, but we are here.
Yeah. So and that I do want to bring out, because like I said, I would like to have a conversation about that, in more
I'm
depth.
open to that.
And that just the fact that y'all had a red carpet on Saturday to open it up, that's pretty dope, as the young people say.
Yes, it was a brunch. Oh my goodness.
Brunch, right?
Wolasani Mokwe Inking, she's a, Cameroonian diplomat, flew in from Cameroon, Africa, just to be here with us. And Vanetta Ngela also flew in from California to be here with us. There are two other members of the coalition. And so I count it an honor to have people who are so passionate about the work that we do together, and the work that I get to do here at Speak Up Sis, that they're willing to fly from around the globe and throughout the US to be here. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience. And the awards is just like that.
Is it?
Miss Leslie, you're gonna love it.
Uh,
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I was telling somebody, I said, these women gonna be slaying at this thing. I can tell.
And we
Yeah.
do. And we do.
Yeah. So one of the questions is there any particular brand of pads?
No, whatever your money can send us, we will be happy to get whatever you send. If you'll keep the focus on pads, tampons, wipes, of course, uh, that cleansing, feminine cleansing products, and deodorant. That's what we're going to put in the bags. And then I'll let you all know we're going to add panties and socks a little later so that they get a full package. But we want to first stock up on the menstrual hygiene products.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. 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 So I think we were supposed to talk about, ooh, it just slipped my mind, something what I had asked you about. What did I ask you about? Like I said, you got so much going on. It'll come back to me in a minute. But
Mm-hmm.
I do thank you for allowing us this time and just sharing. Okay.
They talking up a storm, Miss Leslie. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. And please allow me to say, so the women that you all see, many of the women that you see who are typing, they type in whole books on here. And liking and loving and things. These are women who are part of the Speak Up Sis community. And the Speak Up Sis community is, before there was a Facebook group, women would, and Jamaica is 2275 Riceboro Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30904.
Maybe Tamika could put it in there for us.
Tamika, will you put that?
Yeah.
2275 Wrightsboro Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30904 is the shipping address. And you can send it to Speak Up Sis LLC as the name on that. But prior to actually creating the Facebook group, I would meet women, and they would say, like, how do I join? Like, how do I be a part of Speak Up Sis community? And I would say, like, there's nothing for you to join. There isn't a thing for you to join. I believe we've gotten so wrapped up because of social media, all the guru, furus, all the coaches, all the whatevers, that we have been conditioned to think that community has to be purchased. And it doesn't.
Right.
And so I would meet these women who would say, how do I join? What I need to do? And I would just say to them, like, I don't have anything to sell you in terms of community. There isn't something for you to join, if you will. The Speak Up Sis community is simply a bunch of women and men, because they're men as well, who love what we do and are allies and support the work that I get to do. I would just tell them, just come in, just come into our spaces. Just participate. Just engage with us. When you see us on social media, when you see us on Facebook and one of us is live, come on the live. Talk to us in the live. If you see that someone is doing something and you can go, just go. You know, just talk to each other. Just hang out with each other in the virtual space, in the physical space.
Networking.
And it's not a networking. And I want to be clear on that, because we don't network. Speak Up Sis is not about networking. Speak Up Sis is about establishing community. And that's the thing. People don't understand what community is anymore. People don't understand what it means to just show up and just be in a space with other people who just want to be in that space with you and share space, and it not be about entrepreneurship, and not be about selling anybody anything, it not be about getting somebody to sign up for something. It's not about building your network, so when you want a job, you got somebody to call. No, it is simply showing up among other people who want to show up for you and with you, and y'all reciprocate. And that is a very, very difficult thing to teach people now. And so instead of teaching, what the Lord allows me to do is to model it, to show what it looks like. And it's a beautiful thing. And so these women are a part of the Speak Up Sis community. Some of them have been rocking with me since day one, 5.5 years ago. Some are newer. But we all come in and we just get what we need. And they don't always get it from me either. Some people start communities so they can be the leader of something. Do I lead the community? Yes, I do. But that's only because God gave it to me to steward. The women come in, they actually meet each other. And so you'll have like Susan and Danielle connected to go walking together. And now they go walking. They're like walking partners or something, but they're in the community. And I'm not the only one they're looking at, listening to. They're just there experiencing one another, but they're not coming in to try to get people to do something else. They're just there. And it's just really beautiful, Miss Leslie. I welcome any woman. Now, the community is woman only. Let me say that.
Okay.
I welcome any woman who is just looking to be loved on, any woman who is okay with a community that is rooted in biblical principles, to just connect with us, and we'll love on you.
Yeah. So I want you to we've about come to the close. Two things. Talk about your summer program. And I want you to talk about there's so much we haven't talked about, but you have a portion where you're looking for women that have businesses or something like that that can be advertised in your magazine and things like that. If you,
Okay.
I think I'm saying it correctly.
Mhm.
If you can just touch on those two things before and
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the summer program. Talk
Yes,
about
that was what you asked me about the first time before
yeah.
I started
Thank
talking
you,
about that.
Tamika, for
Thank
reminding
you.
me.
So the summer youth program is a podcasting. It's called Podcast in a Box, Youth Summer Workshop. It is a 3-week long workshop, 3 days per week and 3 hours per day. And the ages are between 11 and 14, or they can be in grades 5 through 8. It is designed primarily for that middle school range. However, if you know me, you know I take extenuating circumstances. If a child happens to be in the ninth grade, it all just depends. If you're really, really, really bright 10-year-old, I'm open to that as well. But my sons, my husband and I always made sure that our children were doing something in the summer. He was a science teacher and a football coach. I was an English teacher and a cheer coach. Their grandmother was a math teacher.
Oh wow.
There was no way our children were going to just sit at home in the summertime and do nothing. And this generation, they're used to sitting and zoning out on phones and things of that nature. And so the Podcast in a Box Youth Summer Workshop is really designed to help keep young people engaged, to help them in the learning process without it being school as usual. They get to critically think, they get to learn a little bit about project management, because they're going to actually build out their own podcast as a group. So they're going to learn how to do the different parts. There'll be someone who'll be the producer. There'll be someone who'll be the writer. There'll be our hosts. We'll have our video people and our sound people.
So much
And
fun.
so they will have to learn to work together in order to get a finished product that will actually go live, and they can choose to keep it up and running or not. It also helps these young people to learn how to build community and to collaborate to get something done as well. And they get to do it by working on a project, something that's meaningful to them. So that's happening. We're going to have 2 sessions. This is the first time that I'm offering it in person. I've taught this to young people in Chicago virtually for a couple summers. It always went really well. But now that we have the center, I want to be able to provide more opportunities for the people in my local community. And so there are lots of young people here who need a space. They need somewhere to go physically
Yeah.
that's not online.
Yeah.
So if there are people who are in other places and you would like for me to bring Podcasts in a Box to where you are, if you want me to do it virtually, we can talk offline about that. I'm willing to do some virtual sessions as well, but the 2 sessions that I've been promoting, they are in person. Only 10 young people per session. This is not summer camp, come play and sit around all day. That's not what we're doing. We're going to be engaged, and we need to have the space and the bandwidth to be able to do it. So
I
only
love it.
10
I love
young people per session. There'll be a session in June, and then there'll be a session in July. And you all can get with me offline if you'd like to get more information about that. The magazine is another one of our spaces. You can submit to the magazine anytime, 24/7, 365 days a year. Just submit. Ms. Leslie, I believe that the Lord has allowed me to create something that's so simple that people get confused. It's the weirdest thing, because they're like, okay, Angel, so what's this? I'm like, there's no deadline. There's no There's no none of that. Like
Because
click
we
the
use
link,
everything as a deadline. We used to everything being a
click,
deadline.
just click the link and submit. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Just click the link and submit. The magazine here again, it's just a space designed for you to share. Um, you can share your stories and have an opportunity to be published in the magazine at no cost to you. I never say free because nothing is free, but it is no cost to you. Here, I'm sitting right here. I'll show you. So this is the latest edition of the magazine. It is print and digital. It really is, and I'm not saying it because it's mine. It really just is a beautiful piece of work. Um, a lot of us are seeing magazines where people are creating magazines to help people get exposure. Like they'll create these beautiful magazines, and it'll be filled with people's bios that you can just really read on their website because that's pretty much where they got it
Right.
from. Copied and
Right.
pasted it and put it on the page. That is not what this is. That is not what this is. Please don't just submit your bio to us. These are bona fide articles. There are people, there's a lady that messaged me. She said, Angel, she said, I never read a full magazine. She said, but I had to put a bookmark in there because like it reads like a book because the articles are robust, they're relevant, they meet you right where you are. They are about everyday people. We do not put celebrities on our front cover. You can't even pay to be on the front cover because that's not what this is about. So you just submit the articles. It doesn't cost you anything to submit, and if we choose to publish your work, it won't cost you anything to be published either. We do offer paid features. So the get to know you section of our magazine, you can pay for that. So let's say that you are trying to build your platform. Well, this is an example of a get to know her interview. I actually have a traditional interview where we talk either in person or virtually, and I record us and we talk, and then I pin a traditional narrative style interview about you. It's between 3 to 5 pages. We
Oh,
even
wow.
have an option where you get a photo shoot included. So we take your pictures and all those things with you. If you have community events that you would like Speak Up Sis magazine to attend, we have a paid option for you to hire us to come and cover your events, and we will feature you in our community event section. I bring a photographer and a writer, and we write up about your event, and we take pictures, and then we create that for you. So there are paid spaces and there are no cost to use spaces in the magazine. And the magazine runs on advertisements. So if you would like to advertise your businesses, books, and things of that nature, we've got extremely cost-friendly advertising options. So you can definitely look into that as well. You can go to speakupsismagazine.com for that. And I'll make sure, if anybody reaches out to me, I'll make sure you have all the information because it's a lot. I know it's a lot.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate you so much for coming on, and you definitely have to come back. And if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. If you want to come on and introduce something new or something, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to give you the space to do that. I love what you're doing, and
Yes, ma'am.
because of what you're doing, it makes me feel good. I'm happy. Yeah, because and you're busy. You're busy, but you took time out to come on here, and I just really appreciate it. So listen, I put her information in the description box, and from the Tamika, the information I got really don't do a thing. But those of you that come on later, we thank you. Those of you that are here, my family that's here, I thank you so much for being here. All day long, somebody will be jumping in here listening, and they'll just have a wealth of information. And you're so free hearted with it. It's like, it's here. Come on. You don't get that anymore because everybody wants you to pay for everything. Everybody
Right.
wants to make a dollar off of someone else. But
Right.
the blessing of it is that you're offering it. And because you're offering it and you're saying, just come, it's going to grow and it's going to blossom like never before. So thank you for coming on. Thank everybody. If you did not get a chance to hit that share, like, or hit that like sign, subscribe or share, please do so. And please check out everything that Speak Up Sis has to offer. There is something for you in all that is there. I'm trying to get in. I'm not a writer, but I'm trying to get in the magazine myself. So y'all just keep looking out for me.
Listen, you never know. You
Never
never
know.
you just never know. The Lord, he has a wonderful way of moving me. And when the Lord says to go, then I go. So you just never know. Y'all keep looking out. You might see Miss Leslie. You might see a little interview in there with her. I'm sure there. I love the name. And y'all excuse me if this feels a little rushed. I did tell Miss Leslie that I had an hour because I
I
gotta
only
drive.
do an hour. I
I
only do
gotta
an
come
hour.
to you only do an hour?
Yeah, I only do an hour.
So we're
Sometimes
perfect
it
then.
goes over, but you're fine. Yeah.
So that's what's up. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for everyone who watched. You all can go to speakupsis.com and take your time and peruse the website. You'll see all of our spaces right there. Again, my name is Angel Charmine, and I just love the Lord, and I want other people to love the Lord. And so come on into the space and let us help you heal so that you can be happy about loving the Lord too.
Amen. And we're going to end on that note right there. Everybody have an amazing day. And I always say, we love you, but He loves you more. Elohim, God loves you more. We can never love you the way He loves you. And if you ever give Him the opportunity to love on you, you'll never regret it. So as you go through the rest of your day, look, if you haven't gone to speakupsis.com yet, do so. You won't be disappointed. Have an amazing day until I see you again. Oh, I won't be on this Sunday. So you'll see something about that. Yes. Oh my God. I'm not going to be on, but I'll be on the next Sunday. And we're still talking about who you are. What's your
Mm.
image? Believe in yourself. So come on out and visit us and love you guys. Have an amazing day.